welcome or welcome back to Decorate with Tip and More. If you're new here, hi, my name is Terry and I am so happy you stopped by. Now this week we are going to be decorating our kitchens. We have several different areas that we want to decorate, so we're going to just separate them into each of their own videos. So it's going to be all week in here in the kitchen, so I hope you get inspired and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be decorating the kitchen table and the cutting board wall that I created myself this summer. Now I already have the tree and the bench all decorated. I shared that when I decorated the Christmas tree. I hope you watched that. It was the high-low challenge. If not, don't worry, because I have a Christmas 2025 playlist for you that you can check out all of my Christmas videos that I shared with you this year in one little space. So go check that out. If anybody needs to know the link to the playlist, let me know and I will send you a comment. All right, so without further ado, let's get started decorating. I want to show you the areas that we're going to be decorating today. I want to decorate my table, not in a tablescape, just a decoration. And then I want to decorate I call it my cutting board rack wall, but a lot of people say it's a plate rack wall. But we're going to decorate that. We're going to finish my home plaque. And then normally what I do when I share the two spaces, I also share my bench area. But I already decorated it when I did the high-low challenge on this Christmas tree. So I just added 3 of my white matching lanterns, the larger one on the floor with just a greenery wreath with a candle. And then these 2 sitting on the bench. And then I just added a swag going in between the 2 lanterns. And then I just hung this pine cone ornament wooden garland up over the hook, and I really do love how my tree turned out. I love the colors, the little light blue with a little bit of the purple and navy, and the butternut color with the green. Just looks really pretty, and I love this corner. So we're going to leave that as is, and we're going to work on the other 2 today. Right, the first thing I want to do is add a Christmas arrangement. I used 3 sprays in here. I used a eucalyptus pine cone and blueberry pick. I used 2 of those, and then I just used a green evergreen pick with some pine cones as well, just for filler, and I just placed them all in there, intertwined each of the picks so that they mingle all together and look like one. And I'm going to place that in the center of my table. And then next to the arrangement, I pulled out this old Santa. I purchased this years ago in TJ Maxx. I have painted it several colors since then. I did do some green trim this time, but I thought it looked really well with the beige of Santa and the vessel here that I'm using for the arrangement. And then all the green looks just really pretty with him trimmed out in green. So I thought that would be really pretty. I wanted to do green because I didn't want to overload it with the blues or the other colors. So I think the green just tones it down just a little bit. And then to finish it off, the centerpiece off, I'm just adding this little tray I found on Amazon. And this candle, it's emerald balsam and fir. I love the smell of it, and it is a wood wick. Sounds like a crackling fire. And I'm just going to use these as the centerpiece for my table. And then I'm going to bring back my wicker placemats, put them on each place setting. Then I'm I'm bringing back, I used this last year, my linen monogrammed napkins along with the Kirkland's berry and juniper napkin rings. But I did add a little silver ornament that hangs down close to the monogram. Now, I didn't really want to use glitter, but I did want a little pop of something. So I thought silver would look really pretty against all the gold that I'm using. So I'm just going to be placing this on each place setting. I love how this doesn't really bring attention to the table. It just blends everything in the Nook together. Very neutral vase with some greenery. Only pop of color is the navy berries. And I have the pine cones just to bring in a little more wood to it. And then Santa has a little bling in his hat and his belt. And I love how that looks. And then just the green candle sitting on the neutral candle base. I love how all of this looks, and I hope you do too. To finish the home plaque and where the O would be, I like to place a wreath there. And to hide, this used to be a phone jack and we didn't repair it. We just added a cover to it. So I like to hide that. And I'm using this Timu evergreen wreath, and I just added a navy bow. And I think it looks perfect there. It's the right size. Yes, it's plastic, but nobody would know unless they touch it. But I do like how that fills in nicely where the O should be, and I love how that looks, so we're going with it. All right, so now we're going to start decorating the plate rack, and I'm going to start on the top and work my way down. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is add this frame to set the tone of the room. It's Santa in a wreath. I did customize this frame to match the colors in the room. So I'm going to place this in the first shelf. And I'm going to push it to one side. All right, to tie in some of the cracked pepper that I got going on here, I'm using this slate cutting board, and I'm going to place it on the other side of the frame. So what I do is I make sure that I have the same gap on this side that I do on this side, just so that my setting looks centered. All right, the next thing I'm going to add to the shelf next to the black slate cutting board is this dinner plate that has just the simple word joy. I love that word. You'll see it a lot in my home this Christmas season. I love the word joy, but I'm going to place that in front of the slate cutting board. And to finish that shelf up, I'm going to add a little bit of Christmas greenery with this Christmas tree that I purchased. I want to say I purchased it in Hobby Lobby, but I'm not for sure. But I'm going to be adding that to the center of my shelf. Just a little bit, moving things around so it all fits. I love how it brings in a little bit of the green, the Christmas greenery, and a little bit of the pine cones on it. And the burlap ties in with the placemats that I placed on our kitchen table. And I love how that looks. Start on the second shelf, bringing in more of that black just to tie it all in. This usually sits in my laundry room shelf, but I'm bringing it into the kitchen this Christmas season. And I'm going to be adding it to the center of this tray. I did add a little nail here so it will sit properly and lean against that nail, so that's the position I want it. If you remember, I bought some little cutting boards at Target on the dollar spot, and one was a snowflake, and I painted the inside white with a high gloss white. I will not be using this other than decorating purposes, but I thought it just looked so pretty with the white center and the wood trim. So I'm going to add that right in front of my cutting board there. To bring in some more greenery, I'm using another faux Christmas tree in a burlap sack, and I'm going to add that to this side of my shelf. Just kind of spreading it out just a little bit. And I'm going to be adding some cutting boards. And I'm bringing in a black cutting board with the butternut velvet ribbon just tied on it, just to finish the look. And I love how some of my cutting boards bring in that butternut as well. So I'm just toning down the black with this ribbon. Last thing I want to do is add a little Christmas towel to the support rack. I've been doing this lately and I really like how it looks. So I'm just going to hang it on the bottom support rack. And I'm going to call that shelf done. All right, now it's time to decorate the focal shelf. And I made this purposely larger than the other three so I can add more statement pieces, bigger pieces to give more grand look to the shelf. So we're going to start decorating this with more of the larger items. And I'm going to start out with this frame. This is one of those Temu 6-pack of 8x10s. I love how that looks, and I love the buck. I guess that's the buck. And it's got ornaments on his rack, I guess you would call it. And he's just decorated so pretty, and he has beautiful coloring, some blues, some of that deep burgundy, and then the greenery. I love how he looks, and I think he's going to look really pretty on this shelf. I like this look of that big platter when I decorated it for fall, so I'm bringing it back as well, and I'm just going to be placing it exactly where it was the fall season. I'm adding 2 more cutting boards. One, I just added a bell and some Christmas greenery on it. Place that here. And then I'm going to add this cutting board in front of the platter and the one cutting board. Finish the shelf off. I'm going to be adding this Christmas tree tray. I think it's just like a dessert tray. And I'm just going to add it to the front of the platter. And I'm going to call that done. All right, to the bottom, I usually have my little stool here, so I don't really go all out on this bottom rack because I like the contrast of all the different color woods. Then I'm going to add my snowflake dish. It brings in the snowflake up here, and I love the contrast of the dark woods and the grays and the creams. I'm going to center both of these onto the shelf. So here's the other Target dollar spot tray. I just painted the Christmas tree inside with green. And I'm going to add that. To the tray here. And then I'm just going to add a little sprig of Christmas and a pine cone to this shelf. And I like how that looks. Adding back my stool. And I made another arrangement with pine cones, some dark burgundy berries, and some blueberries as well. And I'm just going to place that on the bench. I kept my bead and my black vase. And I'm going to call this wall done. All right, y'all, that will conclude my video here today, decorating part of my kitchen nook. I will be finishing the nook tomorrow when I decorate the hutch, so make sure you come back tomorrow to see that. Now, if you like these types of videos, please give me a big thumbs up by clicking that like button and going up to Decorate with Tip and More and clicking that follow button if it's still blue. I would love to have you start following me. Just to get to know me, leave me a comment down below so I know your name and I will get familiar with you. I do try to touch base with each and every one of you when you comment. So I'm not just going to like your comment, I'm also going to read it and I will comment back. That gets me to know your names and your personality by your comments. So please continue on commenting because I love to hear each and every one of you, and I love seeing that you have watched my video. All right, until tomorrow, I hope you all have a great evening. God bless. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.